Hi, I'm Beth Malone. You are listening to You Might Know Her From with Damien and Ann.
Happy Pride. Welcome back to You Might Know Her From.
With Ann and Damien.
We are here dropping a little surprise episode for you in our favorite month of the year. And it's a really special one because it's gay as fuck. I feel like this is like one of our gayest episodes that we've had in a really, really long time. And it's like a thrill that we get to drop it for Pride.
And the other thing that is really special about it is that it's from only our second ever live recording and our first at a college or university. So that is special. You're going to hear an audience giggle and clap sometimes during the interview. And that is very cool.
Yeah. And we want to shout out CU Denver and the College of Arts and Media for bringing us their professor, Stephanie Kornick. If you want to bring us to your university with an actress, please do let us know. We're a traveling band and this is what we love to do. It was such a thrill to talk with the students. We had some special Beth Malone fans that came in, some Denverites, some lesbians, some queer people in the audience. It was a thrill. And I feel like Beth was so down. The fact that we got Beth Malone, a Colorado legend, a lesbian icon. Look, we set up the whole interview in person, but when we're bringing you into the interview, just know that we set her up as a lesbian icon.
Because she is. And to be clear, we booked Beth Malone. That was not the university. So
Correct.
If we're coming to your spot, we will handle it, babe. We will handle it unless you have somebody for us. Unless you're telling me that, Kathleen Turner is like on the line already, then we'll come in. We'll do it again. We already interviewed her once. But yeah, this one was just a total joy. We're here. We're gay as fuck. We're queer as fuck. We like that word. We own it. We feel like we live in that area. And however you identify, whether you are part of the LGBTQIA plus community or you are an ally, and if you're not, then you shouldn't be listening. We are here and we are so grateful that you are as well. And we hope you enjoy this episode with Beth Malone.
You might know her from Tick, Tick, Boom,
City on Fire,
The Comedian,
Braindead,
Song Sung Blue,
and theatrical productions of Starstruck,
Sister Act,
Dolly the Musical,
Angels in America,
and Fun Home.
When I first became a lesbian icon,
I mean, that's what we're here to talk about. We can start there. We can start with lesbianism if that's like, this is a very gay show.
To the day I became an icon of the lesbians. It was this morning when I got the call from you guys. I didn't realize,
you're a lesbian icon.
I mean, look, you said Cherry Jones, and I was like, oh, yes, Cherry Jones. Who, I have a Cherry Jones story, and I'll tell you really quick. I was at Sundance Theater Lab in Sundance, Utah, doing an early version of Fun Home while they were writing it, workshopping it. And you get your housing assignment, and it's like you get to live in this giant, gorgeous log home on a mountainside, and you get 2 roommates assigned to you. And I got there, and my little paper said Cherry Jones. Cherry Jones was my roommate in a cabin in the woods.
Incredible.
That is so gay. That's so great.
The gayest thing. The very first night we were in the house together, we were naked in a hot tub. Naked in a hot tub with Cherry Jones, and and the rest of it, and it got crazier from there. So
wow. Well, we are coming in hot, Beth Malone. I mean, how could you be so modest about your lesbian icon status, and then the follow-up story is I was naked in a jacuzzi with Cherry Jones.
Naked in a hot tub with Cherry Jones in Sundance, Utah. So that happened, and everything else has been downhill from there.
Was there a formative Cherry Jones performance or something? Or was it just like her whole oeuvre, her being so gay, so out, like a legend in the theater, also TV and film? Like, what was it? When did you first know who Cherry Jones was?
I don't remember not knowing who she was.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what it was. I just always knew who she was. She was sort of like the unicorn, that you aspire to one day cross paths with, on 8th Avenue in New York City. She rides by on her bike and she's like a vision. And then she was, in my house making me coffee and stuff like that.
She's the best.
I know, it's weird.
All right, folks. So we're going to dive into so much, and we have a lot to get into, but we're going to get formal here because we're really excited to have you in Denver, like we said, local legend. But can you talk a little bit about like growing up in Castle Rock, Colorado, and sort of making what we feel might be, and you can tell us, is Colorado like your artistic home? And how has like the Colorado artistic community like been the backbone of your like theatrical foundation?
The artistic community here, I think, is really strong. I haven't been a part of it for years, really. I'm really treat it as my away place now. So it's really not the place I'm involved in like group theater making anymore, but I loved it when I was. When I grew up here, you know, I was a ranch kid. I was not really a theater kid. I was not like one of those kids whose mom was carting them off to like dance lessons and voice lessons. That was not the household that I grew up in. I was in 4-H. Okay. And so, you know, if you grew up in this state, you know, like if you get south of here, it's just like, it used to be just rural. I mean, Castle Rock, back when in the Stone Ages when I grew up, it literally was a small town. It had one stoplight when we moved there. It was just, now it's just, I mean, it's a city, which has been just heartbreaking to watch. But I wrote Starstruck here, which is my most current thing that I'm working on, which, you know, is about losing these rural places. I mean, there's a big part of it that's about like these beautiful places that have been this way for billions of years are slipping through our fingers for parking lots, for car dealerships, for tract homes, and the, you know, the displacement of species that is happening right under our nose. And we don't seem to, it just seems like meh, groundhogs, meh, squirrels, rabbits, you know, coyotes. I mean, they have no place to go. They have no place to go. Anyway, so that's, you know, because I'm from Colorado, I have deep wells of just sadness and caring for what's happening to this state. And, you know, the fact is we're going to run out of water and it's going to all, you know, it's going to, anyway, I don't want to start off by being all doom and gloom, but like environmental causes are near and dear to my heart and so where environmentalism and theater making converge, you know, I say, like, I wrote Starstruck to merge the three things I love the most, like musical theater, mountains, and lesbians. And so
amen. Yeah.
And so I was just like, let's make something that just goes like this, like stirs it all together in one big huge like beautiful pot, and that's Starstruck. So so the fact that that I grew up here and have a deep love for the kind of upbringing that I was lucky enough to have is how Starstruck exists.
Okay, so let's talk about Starstruck. So for our listeners in the room and elsewhere, it's one of your recent credits. It is a new take, a queer take on Cyrano de Bergerac, if you will.
A Queerano, if you will.
Branded.
Thank you.
We love that. It features music by Emily Saliers from the Indigo Girls.
I don't know if you've heard of them, the Indigo Girls.
And it is a book written by you.
And Marianne Stratton.
And Marianne Stratton.
Marianne Stratton is from Canyon City, Colorado, and she went to the all-girls Catholic school there, and she had, you know, a veterinarian for a dad, you know, so, and I met her at Loretto Heights College in a place just like this, you know, in a room just like this, in a classroom just like this. Marianne and I were like 18 and, you know, met and became best friends, and then, you know, had a series of really crappy apartments together. And then during COVID, she came up and I was like, write this with me. Come on, let's do this. It's been on the shelf of my brain for years. I think Cyrano would be so amazing if the discovery was not, oh my gosh, it's you ugly man with a nose. It's you woman. So that's the reveal, and that was the base idea for how to begin. So Marianne and I made her watch Roxanne, the movie from Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And then she was like, meh. And I was like, come on, let's just do it. And so we started. And that's how we started COVID, up in Snowmass, Colorado, sitting there, you know, sequestered from the world, and started writing these scenes. And then we called our friend Emily Saliers, who I met through a mutual friend. And the mutual friend used to be on the LPGA, LGBTQIA, LPGA. So she,
I was like, ooh, LPGA. Yes, also gay.
Also gay.
Right.
So she was like, call her, just ask her. And I was like, there's no way. Can we use bad words in this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
say whatever you want. I mean, I don't know. It's
Fucking
definitely
way. I'm going to call Emily Saliers and ask her to write this thing. And she was like, I said, all right, here's the thing. I'm doing this thing. Do you want it? And she goes, yeah. Like that. I mean, it wasn't like, well, let me check let me ask my man, it was just like, yeah, that sounds awesome. It was like that. She just was like a yes. She had no idea how hard it was going to be, no idea what she was getting into. If she had, she would never have said yes. If we had known, we would never have started. We would never have begun if we knew how hard it was. But I think now that we've had a production and it was a big success and it's going forward other places, now it's like, it wasn't that hard. It was pretty great, but
6 years of hindsight or 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there have been it's grueling, writes and rewrites and throwing things away and all that.
Have you always, so you are, as we mentioned, Nick, you're a Tony-nominated actor and singer. You are a lesbian icon. But have you always fancied yourself a writer? Like, how did the writing part of this come to you? Because you also star in it, but you wrote the book. Like, how did that part come?
I wrote the book with Marianne, and she gave me courage. Marianne and I gave each other courage. And once Emily signed on, we were like, we've got to learn how to write. I mean,
this is
we've got to
now.
do whatever it takes. We have to subjugate ourselves to any guru. We have to read every book. We have to study every script. We have to make a script worthy of her music.
Yeah.
Because now that we have this music, we have to make something. It has to be good because her music is so good. You're going to die. It is so beautiful. I don't want to oversell it because then you'll be like, meh, it was all right. But it is so gorgeous, the music. I mean, her music, Emily's music lends itself to musical theater like it was just made for it. So the show has to earn her songs.
Love that.
And you alluded to this, but you just finished a run at Bucks County Playhouse in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Big success. You said there is a future. Can you tease anything about what might be coming?
We don't know exactly where we're going, but we do know we are going someplace on the island of Manhattan within the calendar year. So,
okay, that's incredible.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I do have to get this in. It's important. And this is what we do, on this show. But you pop up and you're selling fireworks in an indie movie, Glitter and Doom, which uses Indigo Girls music to tell the story of a young queer romance. Was this before or after you and Emily were already friendly and collaborating on Starstruck? What is that timeline?
It was after.
It was after.
It was after, but he asked me to do it, separately, but didn't know that we were writing, I don't think. But I ended up going down to Atlanta and shooting that weird cameo. And I called Emily and I was like, I'm coming to do this. She goes, ooh, I'll tell him I want to do it the same day. So we went and did our weird cameos on the same day together.
I love the Indigo Girls is finding a home present day with old queer people, but also young queer people.
Yes.
And it is and their songwriting and, Emily's songwriting is so, they are storytellers, so it's very exciting. I'm excited that it's going to be on the island of Manhattan, as you said.
Yes, and I'm excited that people will get to revisit some songs that were sort of deep tracks of the Indigo Girls because they've released tons of albums. I don't remember how many albums they've released, but a lot. And some of the songs, like what we use in our show, are we use, of course, a couple of the big swings, but a lot of the songs that we have used, repurposed for the show, are deep tracks. So you don't know that they're Indigo Girls songs, and then they're going to be reintroduced and have a new life, have a re-listen, and Collecting You is one of the most amazing Indigo Girls songs that nobody knows.
Did you have input on that, or was that more Emily being like, oh, I know what I can pull out, this trunk song I can bring to the table, or were you like, you've got to bring this back?
It was all us.
Yeah.
It was all us going, and Emily, I think we would like to use this song. And she'd be like, no, let me write something. I'm like, but please just listen, because we have to put some Indigo Girls songs in. The style it's a mix of new music and Indigo Girls music. So we always had to pitch and sell Indigo Girls songs to Emily. Be like, please, just trust us on this one. Trust us. And now she's like, she's a believer now. After seeing it in front of an audience and having them feel those songs, she feels it when y'all are feeling those songs. She feels it and is like, yes, I agree now. I think that these songs are doing what they need to do,
It's so cool that there's like a creative team that's like fully queer putting this on the stage. I mean, I think it's an incredible legacy that this is like what you're choosing to move forward with as your next project.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, I was like, well, I did Fun Home, and then I did Angels in America with Marianne Elliot, and I was like, well, I don't just take anything. I don't just go, yeah, I think I will do that. I did Molly Brown. I did a revival of Molly Brown off Broadway that happened right during COVID and lasted 3 weeks, and then we all packed up our dressing rooms. And then after that, I've been just really selective because I have been doing a lot of TV and film.
Yeah.
And it, honestly, it makes my wife have health insurance. So like that's a huge thing.
That's real.
Yeah.
SAG insurance for Shelley and I, as opposed to the equity insurance, which is just for me. And if I want to get her on, it's like so expensive. So I really just work a lot in film and TV these days. And then to do this thing, I mean, it's cost us so much money. I mean, Marianne and I were sitting here doing the math of like, because we got paid this time for the first time, we first got our first like writer's check.
Yeah.
And it was like, if we did the math, we're still like way underwater. But if we do it like, it'd be less than a penny an hour, of the stuff, So you do it for the love of it. You do it for the need to do it and to give this show to the world. I mean, we really want to give, representation matters. I was telling you, I went to see Lily Rose last night.
Yeah.
Lily Rose is a country star. I mean, I think if she was a straight dude, she'd be a huge country star. But she's a stone butch dyke, and she is super sexy, and she is a country music star, and she rocked our faces off last night. And we were like, we feel so filled up by that experience of seeing a butch woman singing country music last night. We were just like, I mean, it just was, it resonated so deeply with me. Like, see, representation is fortifying. It legitimizes our existence. I see you. I see me. I thank you for being as gay as you fucking are up there, just singing these croony country music ballads to girls.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the best day of my life.
That's so cool.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
No, it's huge. And I feel like there's a crossover between country music, musical theater, and lesbians that I think is untapped. That I really think it's like a storytelling history that all lesbians are interested in, whether they're willing to admit it or not. And I think
so
that
true.
Starstruck has like it's like there's something there.
That's true. But Emily's other song, Country Radio,
Yeah.
they're making some other writers are making another musical about that. So I think I'm just like, I'm waiting for that, as a fan.
Yeah.
That's something I can't wait for.
I'm grateful that they're getting the checks. Do you know what I mean? It's like hopefully there's regional money for these them, to get these produced and to pay them for their entire catalog. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So go with me on this as you as well. So talking about country music, lesbians, musical theater, another project you've been workshopping is with iconic female musician Dolly Parton on the Dolly Parton musical. What updates can you share with us about this Broadway-bound show?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a really, she's a nice lady. She sings country music. She lives in Nashville. So Dolly Parton, like last summer, I spent all of last summer with Dolly Parton in a room this size. It was insanity. It was insanity. I mean, at one point, we were all obsessed with the Jolene guitar lick, so we were all trying to learn it. It's really counterintuitive, and she does it with like 4-inch fingernails, and she's a genius. Like talk about a unicorn. That woman, her brain is, and then there's a lot of interesting things about Dolly Parton, but her brain is like insane. I feel like if we could channel the intellectual energy that is under that wig, I mean, she blows you away. And she'll be over there in the thing, and she'll be like, and she'll be singing through things and trying to figure out something like writing a new thing, and then like all of a sudden, she'll sing it 6 different times, 6 different ways, 6 different riffs, never a note that isn't right in the chord. I mean, she's a freak of nature. Like she's a freak of nature. And can you stand up for a sec?
Yeah.
I know this is a visual aid and it's not
Yeah,
great
I
for
love it.
podcasts.
That's
good.
But I was standing in the corner, and I was talking to my friends, and all of a sudden I feel the presence. Like, so she'll just wander over, she'll just totter over during rehearsal. Like you start to sense like, oh God, she's next to me. And she'll be like, and she goes, I wrote that thing and blah, 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 blah. And then she goes like this, here, go like this. She goes, put her hand on the side of my body and ran it all the way down my body and laughed and then walked away. And I was just like, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
Do I love Dolly
Full body
Parton?
chills.
That's she knows what she's doing.
She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yes, and that gives me chills because we were just talking. I mean,
knew exactly what she was doing because she knew she had my number.
Yeah.
Because
we were like, I am titillated right now.
I don't know whether to shit or go home is what she'd say. And she, her best friend is Judy Ogle, and that's who I play. And Judy Ogle, she was her best friend who protected her from all the bullies when she was a little kid, when she was really poor in the coat of many colors. And Judy was like, I will kick your ass if you come blah, blah, blah. So they were friends from childhood. And then Judy she was in the military, she was in the Army and the Air Force, and then got out and got into a kind of a not great marriage. And Dolly, in order to get Judy out of that marriage, said, you come and work for me. And this is when Dolly was really big in Hollywood. And so Judy became her bodyguard, basically her assistant. And she drove her everywhere. She'd just be with her wherever she went.
Like her professional best friend.
And there was no Carl Dean. Carl Dean was not in the picture. So Judy was always seen in the company of this striking lesbian. And so the rumors flew, and they fly to this day, but their relationship, Judy is in the care of Dolly now. Judy's health is failing, and Dolly sees her every day. And that relationship is just, it's unbelievable, and it's a real honor to get to play her. And I have a crazy, I kind of cut my hair into the mullet that of the wig, but she's a redhead. She's like a real redhead, and she had a 90-10 mullet. She had like a 90-10, and I'm gonna tell you, it was such a blast to wear military uniforms and a mullet. It was just so fun. And just sing, and it's all over my phone, recording just whenever Dolly would start, teaching us something. And there was a moment of just me and Katie Rose Clark and Dolly around a piano learning a thing, because Dolly wrote and she liked the song that we were doing, so she wrote an extra bridge. And so that day that she was teaching us the bridge, it's just like, what is my life right now?
Yeah.
And no cameras anywhere. And I'm like, I just have to remember this. And it was crazy.
What is the status of the Dolly Parton musical? Can you tell us?
It's going in. Yeah.
To Broadway.
It needed a minute.
Do you think, do you know if you're going to remain with it?
I don't. I have that right of first refusal.
Okay,
thing.
great.
So they have to offer it to me, and we'll just see, because
how all of the things are aligning in your life.
Right. And Starstruck is the project right now.
Yeah. And I want to do it. I would love to do it.
You're busy.
And I would love to originate it, be on that cast album, and be in
sure.
that universe again. But the thing that I'm going to do next week in New York is play Billie Jean King in a movie called The 99. So I'm going to...
Oh my God, is this the 99ers about the U.S. Women's National Team?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Okay, I know about this because my partner's little sister's best friend got cast as an extra, and she is playing one of the twins on the U.S. National Team, and she's doing extra work on it. And she's been telling me all about how incredible it's going to be.
My partner's little sister's best friend.
Sorry, no, partner's little sister's
girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Partner.
Yes, because she's from a family of 3 lesbians. So I just had to put that on the record and make sure I was getting that right.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Anyway, so tell us about the 99ers, because that project is so exciting and also very queer.
It's so exciting. I read the script. It is a full-on sports movie.
Yeah.
The one that you're like, oh my God, it's like The Natural. But it's about women's sports, and it is so amazing because what they had to do and what they had to fight against and all of the things, and who they called when they got their offer, and their offer was shit, and the men are getting meals, the men are getting travel, the men are getting hotels, the women are getting 0 things. travel yourself, house yourself, get paid $5. And they called Billie Jean King. And she was like, you have to give up something to get something. If you're willing to do that, you might win. And so she urged them to strike, basically. And so they struck, and they were like getting on the phone quickly, trying the men who ran the U.S. women's soccer at that point, which didn't even exist. There was not even a U.S. women's soccer. It didn't exist. The first World Cup that they won, which wasn't even called the Women's World Cup, it was called the M&M Cup, because the World Cup didn't want to put their names on a women's event, and the U.S. team went. I mean, this is Mia Hamm and all the
Brady
amazing
Chastain, like all the people we know from the 90s.
From that era, those superstars. They won the World Cup, essentially. The next morning, it didn't get covered in the LA Times. It was nowhere in the sports section. Nowhere. They were like thinking it was going to be the front page. It was not on the front page. Third page, not on third page, not on any page of the LA Times was their victory. Anyway, so that was in 91.
Okay.
And so, all those years later, when they went to the Olympics, they had to, it was the same team essentially, and they had to have tryouts and things like that. So the movie covers this era of women's sports between like 91 and 99, where they with the help of a visionary who was running U.S. Soccer magazine or something, a woman named, I can't think of her name.
I don't think I know. Yeah.
But she revolutionized women's soccer by saying, we're going to host the World Cup. It's going to be called the Women's World Cup, and we're going to host it. And oh my God, they had to win. And they had to sell out these huge stadiums. And there were 3 games, and one of them sold like 59,000. One of them sold 72,000. And the third one that was in like the Pasadena Rose Bowl, they were using these huge venues, and the guys were like, you're never going to sell it. You're never going to sell it. And they sold them out, and it became huge. So it's a really good movie. It's a really good, feel good, sports movie. And, first of all, I just get to have a phone call where I'm like, what are you going to do about it? And then the second time I'm at the the Rose Bowl watching.
So
them.
cool.
Man, I know, I'm excited.
It's exciting.
Can you say what was the Billie Jean outfit that you got to wear? Did you get a wig?
I'm going next week, so it's all TBD. I'll send you pictures. I imagine it's going to be a massive blowout. I've been looking at her hair in the 80s, in the 90s, and it's like either the bangs that come to about right here, or the blow dry back. But I'm listening to All In. I'm listening to Book on Tape, All In, just to try to get her voice a little bit. I'm never going to be able to do it, but.
Okay, but Beth, you've played a lot of famous lesbians. So we're going to get to Fun Home and the Alison Bechdel of it all. But you also, on this CBS series, Braindead, for 8 episodes, you played this character who, it was sort of like a comedy thriller on CBS with Tony Shalhoub for 8 episodes. You, in all 8 episodes, played sort of the news pundit who was essentially a Rachel Maddow adjacent. You had the cut, you had the blazer. That was the whole look. So you've played Alison Bechdel, we'll get there. You've played
Dolly Parton's rumored lover.
Exactly. Yes. Now you're about to play Billie Jean King, and you played a Rachel Maddow type. So is there a famous lesbian in the zeitgeist that you haven't played that you're like, I gotta play her?
Cherry Jones.
Fuck yes. It'll be like a Bean John Malkovich, but you're playing Cherry Jones opposite Cherry Jones.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Can you give us a little? She does have that beautiful lilt.
She does. She's like, oh, darling. Darling, you get over here, darling.
It's so sexual. She has a very, we interviewed her and got to go to her apartment in New York and love her. And we were like, wow, you really have a sensual energy, Cherry Jones. It comes out.
Yeah.
But that, you're like,
I mean,
yes.
I'll just say yes, she does. She's very, but she's also so loving. And, she was a huge fan of Fun Home because we were there workshopping Fun Home and so she felt like she was on the inside of that cast. She was almost like she called herself our mascot. And so Cherry Jones was the Fun Home mascot. So she, she was there for all of its formative years, and she was there on opening night, and she was there on closing night. She was, and she would take the cast out. You know, she would take us to the Waverly and spoil us. She was like, TV money, darling.
I mean, that's true. It's how you pay it forward, because she knows what people are making at the Public Theater in New York and how important that piece is. And like that she's trying to create community and celebrate that. That's so cool.
Yes. And she is so great. And then I booked this thing that shot in Toronto. It was called 5 Days at Memorial. I would just say, don't watch it. It's so awful. It's a really good piece of TV making, but I mean, it's about this hospital during the hurricane in Katrina, and you know, on day 3 they start, you know, killing people, and I couldn't watch it. They started because people had their animals there in the hospital. Did you watch it?
Yeah, we did watch it. Yeah, we watched it for you, and it was extremely depressing. It's an Apple series. It's fully available to stream. It is heavy.
I couldn't get through it.
Yeah,
I could not keep watching it because I was like, it's gonna get worse from here. This is day 3. I can't see what day 4 brings. But anyway, so. Was she in that? Yeah, she was in that.
Yeah.
So we were up there shooting, and you know, they had gotten caught up there because of COVID. So this cast had started like 8 months earlier, and they couldn't get out of Toronto. They were all stuck up there together. So they became this weird little family living in these actor housing up there. And so when the world kind of turned back on, and I went up there, the border opened, and I went up there to shoot it. It was Cherry Jones. Cherry Jones was waiting for me. And so the first night I got there, she was like, I got invited to this cast party at this house that was just like Vera Farmiga, and, you know, by a swimming pool. I was just like, what is my life right now? Again, my life, sometimes I'm like, this is so, and Cherry Jones is often there.
Okay, so our audience may best know you for Fun Home. I'm going to, as adult Alison in the 2013 Pulitzer Prize-winning musical adaptation of Alison Bechdel's Landmark. You started with it at the Public Theater, and then you moved the show to Broadway, where you eventually were Tony nominated for your performance. With a decade of perspective, how do you look back on the project and like the marathon of a ride that you had with the cast while you were doing it?
The Broadway cast, we ran for 2 years, and we opened and closed with the original cast. Nobody left. People could have, but they decided not to because they knew, first of all, Hamilton was right on our heels, and they came into the same theater that we had just vacated. Fun Home left the Newman. Hamilton moved into the Newman. So when we saw Hamilton and they held off their entrance, they could have come in the same season as us, but because they both were germinated at the Public, they held off a year to give us oxygen. And once Hamilton opened, we felt like the oxygen gets sucked like out of the room. So, and for good reason. Hamilton was, I mean, it's a cultural phenomenon, and it was coming, and we knew. But Fun Home, 10 years later, we had a little like reunion concert at the Public last year of the off-Broadway opening, the Public opening, and it was so special to have everybody back. And the kids are all grown up, and it's just so weird. But that time in our lives was really just special. It was a magical time in the world. Obama was president. Marriage equality passed. During our run, I could cry. Healthcare passed. I mean, the world seemed like a kind and gentle and intelligent place. The United States seemed like a hopeful, progressive, wonderful country of luminaries, of intellects, of people moving the world forward in this beautiful way of opening out and becoming more global, more accepting, more multicultural. Everything was opening up. And it felt like we were riding that wave of all of that gorgeousness in the world at that moment. Fun Home was a result of all of that thing, and RBG was alive. You know, I mean, it was just like it was a moment in time that was. We were all, you know, living in it, and then like little things would rear their ugly head, like South Carolina school took Fun Home off the shelves and wouldn't fund some program if incoming freshmen were, if it was even offered on the incoming freshman reader list. So we, as a cast, gathered money from our producers and took planes down there and did 2 sold-out performances of Fun Home, and all the money went toward the students so they could read the fucking book. And, there were, the nightclub shooting in Orlando happened, and we went down there. So there were things that would happen that kind of poked into the bubble of glory that was a golden time. It was a golden moment in the world. And man, we thought it was gonna last. I mean, we thought that was the world we were living in. So everything that has happened afterwards has been traumatizing, honestly. Just, it's been trauma after trauma. And so we're sort of numb by all of it right now. But you have to remember, just 10 years ago, 10 short years ago, it was a golden time, and it's just out of reach. It's just out of reach. And hatred, and the thing about Fun Home, and the thing that it's about essentially is shame and the corrosive nature of self-hatred. And that's the world that we are living in right now. I think there's a lot of self-hatred in the hearts and minds of the Republican Party right now. And it is so toxic. It is so powerfully toxic that people who also feel that yuck rage are plugging into it. And it's so, man, it's like RBG said, you have to lead in a way that makes people want to join you. That's one of her quotes. It's like, you have to lead in a way, bleed, but in a way that makes people want to join.
Yeah.
So that is what we have to do, I think. We have to lead, but not in a separatist way, not in a we're right and you're wrong and stupid way. We have to lead in a way of light and love. I know it didn't work this last time. We couldn't get a brown woman elected this last time, but we almost did. And the audacity of that gives me hope.
I feel like hearing all of that, it really is, especially having been there. I mean, I was at the performance that Edie Windsor was at, and it was just incredible to be like, this is a moment in New York. And it was right before the Hamilton wave took over New York City. Yes. It did feel so special, and everybody in New York seemed to know what was happening and how important that show was.
Yes.
But it was so, I mean, I love the book. I love the graphic novel. I love Alison Bechdel's work. But that musical is such a brilliant interpretation of what an adaptation can be. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I mean, it's so meaningful. And I do feel like it was a moment in time. But I appreciate that with each piece of work you choose, I feel like you've been really intentional about the work that you're trying to do. And not to replicate what Fun Home was, but to think about what the art that you're doing means and what sort of communities you're placing yourself in.
Yeah, because you only have so much energy. Really, honestly, it runs out. If you have to physically, bodily show up to do the thing, it's finite. So you really have to be selective because, and Starstruck is an echo of Fun Home. It's an echo of that moment, and it is also a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a silly thing, and it's filled with love, filled with love. So it makes people want to live in Sawtooth, Idaho. And it doesn't exist. Sawtooth, Idaho is a fictional place.
Yeah.
But when you go there, you're going to want to live there. And you can. That's the promise of it. It's like we can live there.
And it's kind of the beauty of musical theater. It's the Brigadoon of exactly. So we're going to get into the weeds a little bit about Fun Home. So can you talk about working with Alison Bechdel and what that was like, sort of being in rehearsal? How much was she there? How much did you feel like, let me get the mannerisms down, let me put this real person on stage? And was that stressful? Was there tension there in terms of her being in rehearsals?
She was not in rehearsals. She was not involved.
Okay.
She let the piece develop apart from her, and then she would pop in a room about this size and sit right there and watch, and that was awful. I remember the first time I met her.
Yeah.
The first time I met her, I stood up. She stood up. We looked at each other. We had the exact same haircut and glasses and shirt and pants and shoes, and I felt heat start at my feet and go up my body. And I did not speak until it came about to here. And then I was like, oh, I don't like it. I really like you. It was crazy. But then after that, you know, she is like so specific. And when you know her, you really know a really unique person. She came to see, she and Holly drove 6 hours to see Starstruck. And I was like so nervous about it because she's the smartest person you'll ever meet. She's a weird ass genius. So I was nervous because we have a bunch of dick jokes in our show, you know, and we have fart jokes and, you know, we have silliness in our show. And I was like, she's going to just be like, oh my God. But she laughed her ass off, you know, and my wife was sitting next to her and Holly and she was like, she laughed harder than anybody. She thinks it's so funny. So, and she loved it and she stayed after and she didn't want to leave and she was so wonderful. So I didn't do an impression of her, but everybody ended up like picking up on her mannerisms because she's like, so like, there's this video of me on the internet where some Broadway World or something came to my apartment and followed me around and followed me to work and followed me in the dressing room. And I do something in my apartment while Shelley's making dinner that is so Alison Bechdel. I'm like, I look just like Alison when I'm like, look, my wife is making me dinner. And it's not me. I don't do that. It's an Alison
You got the essence,
move.
yeah.
I was just like living in that skin for a while. So she wasn't involved, but you know, I took the job of representing her family and her self and her delicate, dangerous story that she was sharing with all of us very, very seriously because it was really, dangerous to write this. And all of her relatives are still alive. It's not like she's dead. All the people from Beach Creek are like, I'm from Beach Creek, you know, and they were there. So you knew you had to hold yourself to this standard of real truth because they were going to be like, that's not true, you know. Anything that wasn't true was not in it. It was, and so like, and also the acting style, Sam Gold, the director, he wants the audience to suck it. He wants the audience to sort of like suffer and go in unchaperoned into this experience and, you know, grow a pair. You can handle silence. You can handle an uncomfortable moment. I'm not helping you. This is the truth. And if you don't want that, then, you know, you don't want this show. And we're fine with that. You know, he's just like such an elitist dick. But in the most beautiful way. Like, so he makes things that are sometimes not for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Was Sam Gold the one that did the production of, was it The Glass Menagerie with Sally Field with all the house lights up for the entire show?
Yeah.
I said, that is a bold directorial choice.
It was mean. It was cruel.
Yeah,
it's
tough.
Yeah. And he was like, this is hard to watch, isn't it? It was hard to watch.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
But I learned how to be like relentlessly not performative in it. Like anything that was actory, it stuck out like a sore thumb. If you were going to play a moment, nope. You just have to think the thoughts, ask the questions, do the work, think the thoughts. This is the extent of Alison acting. That's it.
Right.
I mean, like,
right.
And it's like, you just have to sit through that. You just have to wait till we're done thinking, you know, that really was it.
Alison Bechdel is famous for the Bechdel test, which is if there are two or more women in a scene, are they talking about anything besides a man? Do you or have you used the Bechdel test to like approach work or what auditions you're going to go in? Because I know sometimes it's just about health insurance and paying your rent or whatever. But like, do you try to use the Bechdel test in your approach to work?
I wish. I mean, look, I there's one scene in Starstruck that passes the Bechdel test because it's a love triangle. We are always talking about Chris, you know, I'm pretending to be Chris, so it doesn't really pass the Bechdel test. And Alison, I will have to say, doesn't take any responsibility for the Bechdel test. She said, you know, she said it was named after me, but I said it once and then everybody ran with it. I never was like, let's make this thing. But no, I wish, God. I mean, it's still really they're few and far between, those jobs.
Yeah. So one of the things we learned about you that we were excited was that you were obsessed with Jodie Foster as a little person, which makes total sense. Like pasting pictures of
As
Jodie.
a grown person?
As a grown person, yeah.
Still obsessed with her?
So we were thinking about, like, is Jodie Foster, like, what queer stuff were you obsessed with as a kid, or even queer coded? Jodie Foster is obviously queer. As queer little kids, we were obsessed with media. And like, what were things that were queer coded that you were obsessed with besides Jodie Foster?
Okay, there is this movie called Little Darlings.
Yes.
Kristy McNichol.
Tatum O'Neal's in that as
Tatum
well.
O'Neal.
Yeah.
I think she was in it. I don't know, because I was looking at Kristy McNichol.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh my God, I watched it probably within the last 6 months again. It's on YouTube in its entirety.
Oh, hell yeah.
So you can watch it. Oh my God, that acting at that age, she was so incredible. But yeah, so that was a big one. But the thing that made me go, I'm not like other girls, was Candle Shoe. It was Candle Shoe, and it was literally a church basement, cross-legged, looking at, the movie that they're going to show the kids, and I'm sitting there going, I'm having a Ring of Keys moment. I literally had my Ring of Keys moment watching Jodie Foster and Candle Shoe, and I was like, I like tough girls.
Yeah. So we here at You Might Know Her From love gay gossip, Hollywood lore of gay old yesteryear.
So lesbians.
So lesbian gossip. So we were wondering if you were familiar with this old Hollywood
Item
that goes that Jodie Foster was involved in a love triangle with Kelly McGillis, her co-star from The Accused, and the third party in this trio was Whitney Houston.
And that the scuttlebutt was that it resulted in a brawl at New York famous lesbian bar Cubbyhole. I don't know if it was a physical brawl, but there was a fight between the three.
A tussle.
Of them.
I think it was
Jodie?
over Kelly McGillis, because I think they were both engaged with Kelly McGillis. This is the rumor. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So we didn't know if you had ever heard this tidbit or if you have anything to comment on.
My brain is,
It's
can't
so good.
process what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
I can't. For me, I'm a bit of a doubter. So I'm like, there's no way they would, there's no way they would go to the Cubbyhole. Do you know how many times I've tried to get Emily to go to the Cubbyhole?
But this is like 1981.
No,
I'm
later.
not shitting on the Cubbyhole. I love the Cubbyhole.
Yeah.
But Emily will not step foot down there because she knows what
terrified.
would happen to her if she
Mauled.
did. And the fact that Jodie Foster's like going to go to the Cubbyhole, that's the part of
Okay,
it that I
Beth.
find.
Just let it live.
I find it hard to believe. But oh my God, yes, I would love that if that were true. But I have heard the Kelly McGillis Jodie thing.
Yeah.
And that makes so much sense to me.
Have you met Kelly McGillis or Kristy McNichol? These are both, we're not going to call them later in life lesbians, but they came out later in life.
Publicly, yeah.
Publicly. And we've tried to get them for the show so much because we feel like there's so much to discuss about them being huge stars that came out later. Have you met either of them? And
I did meet, and I wouldn't say I met Kristy McNichol, but she was at the Kinko's and I was at the...
that wasn't what I thought.
That wasn't what I thought was going either.
She was making copies and this was in the 90s, the early 2000s in LA, at the Sherman Oaks Gelson's. And she was making copies and I was also making copies. And so I made copies as long as she would make copies. I would just made those copies and did never speak to her. But then I did learn, I'm so ashamed. This is going to be, I learned where she lived. And on Christmas.
I love gay people.
Yeah.
We're so insane.
Yeah.
On Christmas night, my wife and some friends of mine got in the car and drove to her house and sat out front and watched her do the dishes.
Beth Malone, you are our kind of person.
You are our kind of person. Gay people are crazy. It's all with reverence and love. We love Kristy McNichol. I would love to watch her wash dishes.
You wouldn't believe how good it was. It was so satisfying.
I know she did a good job.
Yeah.
I
She was
know
thorough.
she did a good job.
The dishes from Christmas, and we were sitting out there, and then I felt all kinds of shame.
Sure.
And we drove away. But
Yeah, but you got to experience it, and hopefully she was none the wiser till today.
until she listens to where I know her from.
And not to be cheesy or make something, but like it is like, this is what representation matters. This is why queer kids are obsessed with media. This is why you follow things obsessively, because you're like, oh my God, I know that person. Even though I don't know if she's gay, but she's speaking to me somehow subliminally, and I'm going to follow everything she does for the next 40 years of my life.
The next 40 years, just casually.
Yes. That is what it's about. And I feel like yes, we identify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of representation and all of the things, you followed up Fun Home with the Broadway revival of Angels in America, where you strapped on the angel wings. Between the two parts of Angels in America, you sometimes had a 7-hour show day when you did part 1 and part 2 in the same day.
Yes.
What kind of toll did that show take on your body? And be honest, did you ever party while you were doing that production?
It was a party-free zone. It was party inhibitive.
Yeah, I would think so.
Do it. You couldn't survive, and you could barely survive doing the show. I mean, Nathan Lane told them he would only do 7 a week, so we only had to do 7 a week. Bless him for that. But there were those days that you could see both. You could see both parts in one day, and it was like you would go into some weird meditative state just to, I mean, it was really strange when you're in it. When you're in the backstage and you hear the show going on and you know you're not on for like an hour and a half. There was a time in the middle of Perestroika where I would be warming up my body, getting my body back alive at 10:45 for this big Jacob wrestling the angel scene where I fly and shoot straight up into that didn't happen till 11 p.m. So, I mean, I would fall asleep. In Perestroika, there was like an hour and a half where I'm like, I'm going to take my 45-minute nap, my vampire nap. Then I'm going to wake up, drink some tea, and start warming up at 11:45 p.m. And it was like, it was crazy. It was the maximum, I would say, like when we closed, we were like crawling to the finish line physically just to get that close. Because, I mean, and Andrew, like what he put himself through every night was Herculean. You would watch it and you would be like, good for you. But it was like, please, somebody close this show before this boy goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a lot. I mean, obviously, you were saying the wrestling scene. You had a lot of physical stuff with Andrew. Mm-hmm. So a couple questions. A, was there an intimacy coordinator on set for like you guys to do that work?
No. It was before that.
Yeah.
It was just pre-intimacy coordinator.
Yeah.
But he was really beautifully open, and he let us create a new angel because I was replacing the angel from the
London production.
Yeah, the national. And I was more athletic than her, so I could do more. And we had these people lifting us. We had these shadows, and most of the thing happened with boots on the ground. The angel would stand up. I'd stand on a thing, and I'd go, and that cue and giving the physical would be their cue to go and put me here, and then
like all orchestrated.
So, and they were in black, so you really stopped watching them, and it really looked like an angel was flying around. I had these giant wings that each were puppeted by a human. Each wing, my right wing was a person, my left wing was a person, and there was one moment where the audience got used to visually seeing the angel fly at this, and then there was one point in the middle of the show where they hook me up, covertly, and I shoot 3 stories up in the air, and that was so shocking and so beautifully done because you were not ready for it. Yeah. And he's hanging off of me then. He's hanging off of the angel just by his own strength. Like it was not safe. He was not. I think he might have been.
He wasn't strapped in. Okay.
But he was just hanging from his wrists at that moment. So it was crazy.
Did you have to coach him a little bit because you were like the American on set? Yeah, I know it was like they needed an American to really hold it down.
They did. I mean, like that angel, Tony Kushner came back, and I mean, it was one of the most amazing moments of my life. Like he came to my dressing room and regaled me for 15 minutes and Shelley was there. Thank God my wife was there to hear it.
Like I have a record of this. Yeah.
And some other folks were backstage. I'm like, that just happened, right? Because Tony Kushner is really tough. He's really, really tough. And so to finally, he was like, I've finally seen the angel that I want, because it was, I mean, the angel's not an angel. She's sick. She's the virus,
Yeah.
So it's like all kinds of mess. Boy, that show was exhausting. Just talking about it, I'm just like, oh. But then I always thought it would be fun to do like a 54 Below show called like, I don't know, I can't even think of what it's called now, but I have all these angel songs. I'm like, that would be a good show.
Like a song cycle of angel songs. Yeah.
Angels in America song cycle.
So we've touched on this a little bit, but between Fun Home and Angels in America, you've starred on Broadway in two of the most like significant pieces in the queer canon. There are so few plays, let alone musicals, about lesbians, especially in the mainstream. But like plays, we have got Stop Kiss, The Children's Hour, last summer at Bluefish Cove. And do you feel the weight of any of that when you like put on the Alison Bechdel glasses or like put on those wings? Like, do you feel that there's not a lot of lesbianism on Broadway? There's not a lot of queer theater.
Yeah, I think, it's Jen Colella and I are like holding it down. And she has been remarkably powerful and really like at the tip of the spear in visibility and continuing, to make sure that she doesn't shrink from the identity at any point, So I just want to give a shout out to Jen too, because she is, she's out there. She should do this.
Yeah. And Leah Delaria. We've got Leah Delaria too.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
No, we don't have her, but I'm saying just in terms of lesbians on Broadway.
I was in a show, an early, like a 90s lesbian musical called The Breakup Notebook, and my friend Patricia Carter was the writer of that, and she was like, how do you know if it's a lesbian in a musical? And I think the punchline was like, she's wearing pants or she's Leah Delaria.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, Beth, we're going to rewind a little bit here. So we talked to Dawn Lewis on this very show about how she originated the role of Dolores Van Cartier in the original Sister Act musical during a very successful out-of-town tryouts. And she talked to us about what it was like watching that show then go to Broadway with a whole new cast without her. You were also part of this production playing the iconic Sister Mary Robert role. Was it difficult for you to see that show take on a life of its own post you and Dawn?
Yes. This, and it was like, because I wanted this, I thought this was because The Life I Never Led was this song that was sort of written on me, Alan Menken, and it was just so amazing. And it was my first time really in a room where I was in a development, room, and I was watching Sister Act get made.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is so exciting. And then we got to go to Pasadena Playhouse and then the Alliance, and we were supposed to go straight in, but it wasn't working yet. So they were going to take it to London, and Peter Schneider, who was the director, he lost control of it over there. Somebody had 51% of it. So he wanted to take me, and then they fired him. So the one that was on my side was gone, and then I had to audition for Jerry Zaks. And I was 40. I was 40 years old, and I was playing the young novitiate. Mm-hmm. And I did not get that part, and I thought, well, that was it. That was my shot, and it's over. And I was so sad. I was so depressed. And I thought, it's over. And I had been writing at that point. I had been writing my solo show. And I said to Peter Schneider, I'm like, I'm going to quit the business. I'm going to quit. And he gave me the best advice. He said, he gave me like 5 bullet points at that moment of my life where I was at the lowest going, I'm done. I'm going to get I started making my CV. I've got a master's. I could be teaching, somewhere with a ski area close. You know what I mean? Like that was the plan. So, but he's like, don't leave the house for less than $1,000, or if it's someone you really want to work with, or if it's got legs, or, he gave me these bullet points. He gave me these 5 bullet points, and I started running, because I was running around LA doing every regional show for like $500 a week, and I was doing a lot of TV commercials, and I was trying to break into TV on that coast, but he gave me these bullet points that sort of like refocused my efforts. And that's when I started doing less things, but more intentional things. And that was the day everything started to shift for me. All of the sudden, I got like my first, I don't know if I had gotten a Broadway show. Oh no, I had. I'd done
Ring of Fire.
I had done Ring of Fire already. Yeah, and Bingo, the off-Broadway, the ill-fated Bingo. But he really changed my life, like by telling me to stop wasting so much energy on stuff. And that's when and he said, and do something that scares you. Mm. And that's when I wrote my first thing. I wrote Beth Malone So Far with my friend Patricia Carter, who wrote that lesbian
Your
show.
Solo show.
Yes. So Beth Malone So Far changed my life because It taught me to write. It taught me to use pop music to tell a story, which it is the prototype for Starstruck. I mean, Beth Malone so far has all of the things that Starstruck has, and I learned how to set up an arc that has a structure and then use just the parts of the songs that work. You know, I learned all of that doing that, and Lisa Crone came and saw me.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Incredible. Well, it's nice to hear like when people have practical advice that hits you at the right time. You're like, ooh, thank you.
Yeah, because I was really done. I remember I was walking around in my backyard on the phone with one of my college professors going, yeah, I'm going to make my CV. Yeah, I'm going to start looking for, yeah. And then I was like, I'm not doing that. It felt so wrong to me to be like giving up.
So we just have to hit on the sister act lesbianism of it all for a moment, because we spoke with Wendy McKenna, who originated Sister Mary Robert on screen, and she told us something that I always felt in my bones, is that Sister Mary Robert had a crush on Dolores, and that's how she played it, but she never told Whoopi. And we were like, this is the greatest thing we've ever heard in our life.
Is she a gay?
And she's not a gay. Wendy McKenna, character actress, not a lesbian.
Not a gay.
Our knowledge.
To our knowledge.
Okay.
Publicly.
But it like blew my mind, because I was like, this taps into something that I always knew watching Sister Act. Did you play it that way? Did you have any inkling that Sister Mary Robert maybe had a feeling for Dolores?
I did not play it that way. That's the one thing I didn't play gay, because I make everything gay.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think. I thought of her as like a really pure thing, just like a spring flower that's just bloomed too early and it's about to snow. You know, that kind of person. Yeah.
When it did go to Broadway, it was cast with a lesbian.
Yes,
another one of Broadway's lesbians, Marla Mandel.
Marla Mandel. Yes. Yes.
Okay, Beth, you've popped up on some of our favorite TV shows over the last 20 years. A little laundry list here: Grey's Anatomy, Law and Order, The Good Wife, All Rise, The Blacklist, Chicago Med, Gaslit, Reno 911, Bull, City on Fire, Braindead, 5 Days at Memorial, among many others, but never The L Word or its horrific reboot. What the fuck?
Didn't get an audition for that.
Never.
That's bullshit.
Couldn't get seen for it, because in the first iteration, when the L Word was kind of good.
Yeah.
Good,
It was a thing. It was a thing.
Yeah,
It
like
was
season 3,
pretty
1
big.
through 3.
I was living in LA. I was living in LA.
What the fuck, Eileen Shaken?
No, I mean, like, Laisha Haley.
She listens. She's a regular listener, so
Is she? I love her. We did a thing together once. Anyway, yeah. So nope, couldn't get seen for that. I was busy doing regional theater. That was before my transformation. Before I was like, yeah, I could get in. I can get seen by things now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a moment in LA I just couldn't get seen for nothing. But that was, But let's see. What was it? Read the list again.
Okay, so it's Grey's Anatomy, Law and Order, The Good Wife, All Rise, The Blacklist, Chicago Med, Gaslit, Reno 911, Bull, City on Fire.
Law and Order. You were going to say like Mariska Hargitay, right?
Yeah.
So Mariska Hargitay, came to see Fun Home, stayed after, was pretty, she was
tipsy,
feeling no pain.
Yeah.
And stayed after and had some drinks, and we were hanging out and stuff. And then when I went to shoot it, and I was like, hey, yeah, I am. We were shooting this. She was like, oh, yeah. People thought I was a lesbian once. And I was like, did they?
Just once?
Tell me about it, because you're blowing my mind right now. And she was like, yeah, when I had that haircut. But she didn't enjoy. That was not the desired effect of the haircut, so she grew it back out.
That's annoying. She needs to embrace it.
Also, yes, and she's best friends with Hilary Swank, who also is
oh my
gay
God.
adjacent.
Get over it. Embrace your fan base. The lesbians are supportive, and they will follow you anywhere. So fucking get on the fucking bus, Mariska.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait, okay, so one of these TV credits, sorry, Ann,
go.
is the City on Fire Apple TV series, where you and John Cameron Mitchell work for a prominent family as their personal and professional lives explode. What kind of working relationship did you and John Cameron Mitchell have? And did you all establish a backstory? Because you guys sort of play a mysterious sibling duo that is sort of villainous.
Yes. He and I were on set together exclusively. My scenes were always with him, right? So, you spend hours and hours and hours with nothing to do. So we had a lot of fun, and we got into some shenanigans, and he's, my he's my brother now. And then on the premiere, I realized he looks just like my wife. He's the exact same size.
That's
They're the
LOL.
same gene pool. Doesn't Shelley look like doesn't Shelley look, everybody who's seen my wife, Shelley kind of looks like John Cameron Mitchell. Anyway, I mean, in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
Did you see him in O'Mary yet?
I have not.
Okay, I think he's closing soon. It's very
but
good.
We just did something. Oh, we went to the Kennedy Center and we took over the Kennedy Center.
Yes, thank you for that.
The queer takeover of the Kennedy Center. So we got a nice post takeover hang after that. That was fun.
So I'm sorry to say we're going to bring up Andrew Garfield briefly again, but you've said your first experience with musical theater was your brother's vinyl copy of Sunday in the Park with George.
Oh, that's not true.
It's not true. It is true.
It is true.
It is true. Okay, great. And one of your most famous film roles is as a legend in Tick, Tick, Boom. And this is the diner scene where you sing Sunday, which is, of course, a riff on Sunday in the Park with George. Can you talk about that full circle moment and like what it was being on set full of Broadway legends for that shoot day? What was that for you?
It was it was so wild, but it was COVID, so everyone had to social distance.
Okay.
So we were in this massive warehouse out in Brooklyn. They put us in hotels for 2 weeks and made us not talk to each other, but we would sneak out and see each other. And we were all in this hotel, and then we were all, and BB Newirth kept getting busted by the COVID police because she couldn't not just like go blah 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 blah. You know, BB Newirth likes to tell a story and she will not be stopped, not by any COVID police telling her she's spitting her spit on
Felicia Rashad and
on Felicia Rashad. You know, it was crazy. I mean, that room was insane because you had Brian Stokes Mitchell and Bernadette Peters and
Cheetah Rivera there.
Cheetah,
Felicia
and
Andrea Shields.
Yes, I mean that the room was filled with legends, and to be one of them, I mean, I know I was checking a box. Look, I mean, there's no way I was not checking a box.
Yeah, you got to take that call though. You're like, yes, I will fill that.
Well, he texted me, and when Lin-Manuel texts, it's like.
You take the call.
You take the call. It was crazy. And so I got to go do that, and that was fun. But then, I hadn't seen Andrew since we closed, and Angels.
Yeah.
And we had to socially distance, of course. But that was a very intense, we sweated all over each other, moment in Angels in America. So there's an intimacy that you can't unintimate someone.
Yeah.
You see someone, you're like,
we've been in it together.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
you right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of fucked him, right? Like you fucked him as the angel.
bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
So I actually, this is like a personal thing for me, but you in Tick, Tick, Boom, it's like they're trying to give you Alison Bechdel's hair, but then it seems like maybe you have like a French twist or like a bun happening. Like, can you just
unfortunate. I mean,
tell me everything about what's happening with the hair?
The other option was to have it just have hair.
They didn't, but you didn't want that, or they didn't want.
I didn't want it. I was like, I don't want to have the profile of hair. This T-shirt. If you have, it just
because your costume was sort of a nod to Fun Home.
It was basically, the same T-shirt and pants. I mean, a costume. That is an Alison costume right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I
gesturing to a queer person in the audience.
Gap men's corduroys and a ringer tee to rehearsal one day, and the designer said that. I literally wore my costume to rehearsal one day.
Okay.
All right.
And then he replaced it, bought 6 of them, and that became
the bun fooled Anne. She couldn't see it. I kept pointing it out to her.
I couldn't see
I kept being like,
It was
look,
like, she's in a bun. I said, Damien, no,
I said
she
no,
is
and I
not.
said, well, I'm ready to get into questions. And Anne was like, I don't, and she's like, you keep saying a French twist, and I was like, it's some sort of bun updo junior prom like hairdo.
I tried really hard to make it as flat to my head as possible.
Yeah, well, you fooled the lesbian.
That was the goal.
I have terrible eyes, so I don't know that it's saying much, but I appreciate that you were correct, and I give you that one.
We should have a game show called Fool the Lesbian.
Babe, it's called this partnership convinced. Every day.
Thanks, Steph.
Okay, go.
Beth Malone, we've reached the part of the show we call the rapid fire. It's rapid for us. It's so we get every last credit in. You can take whatever time you need.
But rapid for us because we're going to be doing even more than we've been.
Okay.
Brace yourself. Okay. Beth Malone, you appear in the group therapy scene of Song Sung Blue, where Kate Hudson's character is talking about losing her leg, spoiler alert, in an accident, but trying to not let the accident take her singing away. Be honest, how many takes did Kate Hudson need to land that monologue, and did you have to stay all day for coverage?
She did it in 3 takes.
Professional.
And it was pretty amazing to see. I had a line that got cut. She had another speech before that about singing the song Crazy, but I think they thought it was too politically incorrect because I was like, what's your favorite song to sing? And she looked around her group therapy and she was like, well, I don't want to say it here, but crazy. And that was like cut. Yeah. So that's that story.
Yeah.
So my line was cut. So now I might as well have been an extra. But I can't believe
were you the moderator of the group though? Because
I was the moderator.
I can tell because here's the thing. I clocked it. You had a vest
shrink.
on. Yeah. You had the long skirt, and you had a kitten heel. I could tell.
I had a kitten heel.
Yeah.
But you get residuals hopefully on it, and that's my hope for you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I just have to say, if people in the audience or listening have not seen Song Sung Blue, it is one of the wildest films that I have ever seen in my life. I didn't know what was happening, and then it kept happening, and it was worth your time.
I just rewatched it because my brother-in-law and sister-in-law had not seen it, had no recollection of what happens, and it was way more intense than what was needed.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yep.
So you have dark circles under your eyes and fake scabs drawn on your legs in the film Hick, where you're snorting coke with Eddie Redmayne. I always have to ask this when we talk to an actress who does drugs on camera. What did props give you to put up your nose?
It is some kind of sugar thing.
Like a pixie stick?
It's some. They gave me a pixie stick. They gave it to me. It was one of those sweet tarts, and I had to crush it. No,
Delicious.
I don't.
I was following as real. I was yes anding.
Yes, and it was a sweet tart. I crushed it and snorted a sweet tart. No, I don't know what the substance is, but there's a movie magic substance that is snortable.
Annalie Ashford told us, another Denver person, Annalie Ashford told us that she snorted B12, that it was like powdered B12. So I wonder if that's what you had.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was healthier afterwards.
It didn't burn.
It didn't feel like anything.
Okay.
I couldn't feel it.
They figured it out. Beth, you were the host of What's On the TV Guide channel. What were the perks of that gig? And did you have a particular TV guide voice that you used while you were the host?
I was in rehearsals for a regional production of Fame, and I told them, I have booked a pilot. I have to shoot it. And the director, her name was Shaw Newman, she said, no, you may not shoot it. And I was like, well, I'm going to shoot it. And I have to, because it's Los Angeles and this is a regional production of Fame. And so I shot it and I said, I'm so sorry. I'll be there as soon as I can. They kept me after lunch. They kept me into the afternoon. They called me at 6 a.m. I wasn't there. I wasn't leaving there until 3 or 4. And I'm driving to Burbank, trying to get to the whatever studios to go to my afternoon rehearsal of the regional production of Fame. And when I walked into the studio, Shaw Newman said, I should fire you right now. And she berated me as I walked across the whole room. She berated me the whole way, like Fame, the TV show. It was like art on art. It was a hat on a hat. It was so meta. And then I quit. I quit Fame, and she also fired me. So I fired Fame.
For the TV Guide channel.
And then the TV Guide channel did not pick up What's On. Oh. So it was a lose-lose situation.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm sorry.
Business, it just gets better and better.
You got what looks like a full body cast made for your recent episode of Grey's Anatomy and a series of facial prosthetics made for your episode of Chicago PD. Which procedure was more time-consuming and or claustrophobic?
Okay, so I went to my first day of shooting for the doctor one.
Chicago PD.
No, the
MD,
other one.
Med. Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. And they gave me an address in Burbank that I was to go to. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just booked a thing where I was like, oh, I have breast cancer and I'm getting a reconstruction. And so I'm going into this like seedy little, off of Burbank Boulevard, and people are going zoom, zoom, and they're like, okay, now take off all your clothes and bind your breasts with this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And I mean, like, they gave me a teeny tiny little thong and an ace bandage. And I didn't, nobody told me anything. My agent didn't tell me anything. Nobody told me anything. And I just was like, okay. And so I went into the thing and I just did what I was told, and I came out and they're taking pictures of me with no clothes on, and because they wanted to get a picture of my actual body as they're because they have to build a body. I have so much video of this. And
it was on your Instagram, right? You were like covered in like a goop, like a blue goop.
Then
You're
they
like
lay me on the
Mystique.
table. They pour one thing on you. They pour this other thing on you. They start wrapping you like a mummy. They take it off. And then you go, get a Starbucks afterwards. And it was like, that was weird. That was an odd, invasive thing to happen with no one prepping me. Like, by the way, you're going to get mostly naked in front of two guys in about a half
Give a
hour.
girl a warning.
No, and I didn't shave anything. There was nothing.
Good, they don't deserve
I was about to
that.
say,
Please.
There was.
They should be so lucky. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, there was no. I mean, I could have done some personal grooming. If I had known, there might have been a wax involved. But anyway.
Was that better or worse than the facial prosthetics when you had to have like the shit beaten out of your face?
That was really fascinating. They had them built when I got there, so they didn't have to go on to like it could go on any face.
Okay.
But this body they made, when I looked at it.
Did you get to take it home with you?
It was my body. I mean, I could, because what are they going to use it for?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they made several of them that are in different stages of surgery, and I'll show you later if you want to see.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
The things that come out.
I'm obsessed. You need to get those for your backyard or something. Little
Put 'em around the fire
little
pit.
flower planters with like flowers growing out of your like.
It looks so real though. Did you see it?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
looks so real. It's laying on your body. They put the fake body on your body, and you just lay there, and they do surgery on the.
We talked to, who was it, Brooke Smith, who said that like when she had to go in and do surgeries, they actually use like pig bones. And she was like, I'm a vegetarian. Please don't like let me know in advance when I have to go in and like chop things that it's like a pig chest that you're making me crack open on screen. I
What
said,
TV
I didn't.
show was that?
That was Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy.
And I was like,
Oh.
they do weird shit over there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They
They're
try
going
to make
for
it look as
realism.
real as they
Okay.
can.
Okay, Beth, you've portrayed Denver legend Margaret the Unsinkable Molly Brown many times on stage, and you're in good company. Other people who've portrayed her include Thelma Ritter, Tammy Grimes, Debbie Reynolds, Kathy Bates, of course. Which of those performances is your favorite, and did you revisit any of them, or did you avoid all of them for your portrayal?
I love the Tammy Grimes original cast album because she can't sing it.
Yeah.
And it's delightful.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to it if I was depressed because she goes, I'm gonna learn to read and write. I'm gonna see what there is to see. And if you go from no one on a go somewhere and I meet anyone. And then when she goes, I'm lonely. I mean, she does full chest voice. I'm lonely. And she does this hooty thing for on the ooh. And it's just like, you can't be in a bad mood after you listen to it.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
like
good.
when Broadway had like personality, so it's not all about just belting. It's like she's got the character.
It's delightful. The sound of her voice is like sandpaper on rust.
All
So
right.
it's like you.
But you're loving it for the record.
Love it.
Yeah, same.
I-
Okay.
you can't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
She would never have a career today.
Right.
But it's such a shame. I think it's like high beltings for.
It's boring sometimes.
Losers.
It's-
Only losers. If you're only high belting, you're a loser.
Let's just say it.
I said it.
Tammy Grimes is where it's at.
It's 100%.
You get to do dialect work opposite Julia Roberts, Martha Mitchell in the Apple TV miniseries Gaslight. You and Julia have a great rapport while she insults vegetarians. What was your moment before as an actor before that scene, and what kind of scene partner was Julia?
Okay, so she was delightful. She was generous and lovely and tinier than I thought she was going to be. And I was so wound up because I have mental issues that I could not sleep the night before. So this was one of those really, really horrible shoots where I decided at 3 a.m. that I should take a migraine pill because I thought a migraine pill usually knocks me out. So my alarm goes off at 7. I literally in the production van on the way to the thing, I was nodding. I was like, this is bad. I had the hardest shoot. They put me in heels. They started me a football field away. They started with a wide shot. I had to walk through a crowded cafeteria of people eating in heels to get to Julia Roberts. I'm tottering. My eyes are crashing. It was hellish. And I did it to myself. And I thought, I'm just not built for this business. If I can't man up and sack up.
You look great, and none of it read on camera.
Thank you very much. I felt like really good in the it's period costume.
Yeah, you
that
look
was
good.
just like, I think that's why I got the job. Because I think they thought she'll look good in this costume. But Julia Roberts was lovely. She was ordering Doc Martens for her daughter, and she kept showing me, like, do you like the pink ones?
Oh, she was consulting.
Was that
like,
homophobic?
I'm like, why do you think I like the pink ones?
Why are you asking me, Julia?
Why are you asking me?
You said Hootie Who earlier. It made me think about the fact that you played a running coach who encourages runners by saying Hootie Who. In the comedy Brittany Runs a Marathon, your character is credited with an interesting name. Do you remember it?
Nope.
Tesla.
That's my name, Tesla?
Yes.
Your name is You're credited as Tesla.
Tesla.
Anything about
coach.
that?
I mean,
Hootie Who, is that it? Was that an improvised line? Is that one of your go-to
I
bits?
think it was on the page. I had to
You
have
took
been
it
on
with
the
you,
page.
yeah.
There's no way. I never said it. I don't say Hootie Who.
You just said it a moment ago.
There's no way I
Beth,
said that.
you just said
with
Hootie
Tabby
Who.
Grimes.
Oh, Hootie.
Okay, so you made your Broadway debut in the Johnny Cash jukebox musical Ring of Fire. The show famously only had 57 performances. Does it feel iconic to be part of like what is considered a Broadway flop? And do you know if your poster is on Joe Allen, iconic New York theater restaurant's wall?
No, I think you have to have less performances than that.
Okay.
I remember going to TKTS, as the audience was dwindling, and I'd be like, the guys that are selling tickets, I just was like, what do you hear about Ring of Fire? Oh, don't see that. It's a piece of shit. Don't go to that. And I was like, oh, okay, we're closing. But here's a funny story about that. Okay, so Shelley and I had a house in LA. We have a house in LA. We went on Craigslist because I was bouncing around subletting, and she wanted to come because we thought, we're going to be in Broadway and it's going to run forever, and she's coming with me, and we're going to move our household, and we're going to live in New York. And so we traded houses with Jennifer Lawrence. So Jennifer Lawrence's mom and dad had rented a place on 58th Street, the Maurice, and they were looking for a house in LA, and we were looking for an apartment in New York. So we traded houses. So Jennifer Lawrence moved into our house, and then my show closed, and we had to come home and kick Jennifer Lawrence out of our house.
Sorry.
And that's what we did. And she was 15, and she was sulky and bitter, putting her things on the bed with her hangers.
Have some respect, Jennifer.
Yeah, so
It's a tough business.
It's tough. It was tough.
Beth Malone, last question.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
In the 2016 comedy The Comedian, you appear opposite Robert De Niro and Edie Falco as the executive of a TV network called Raw TV. Mm-hmm. You're wearing previously aforementioned Doc Martens and have your feet up on the conference table while you're wearing a Day of the Dead inspired cycling shirt. Be honest, did you create a backstory for Carol Bach, or did you just go in and shoot from the hip?
I did not create a backstory because I'm a terrible actor, apparently. Never occurred to me until this moment that was something I could have or should have done. I was just thinking, Robert De Niro. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I have to have my feet up in his face and be sort of this dickish exec. And that came directly from a real true story of the writer who wrote the movie, was pitching something, and the 10-year-old executive had his feet up on the thing. But I wore that Day of the Dead cycling shirt to the audition, and they loved it, and that's why they kept it in the movie. And those are actually my Doc Martens. As you can see, they're really old. And
once again, Beth Malone's real life clothing informing character choices.
Maybe I missed my calling as a costume designer.
Beth Malone, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to you. Thank you for joining us here at CU Denver on You Might Know Her From.
Thanks for having me. It's been an amazingly thorough walk down memory lane.
Okay, Beth Malone was just really down for us.
She was so down to clown.
She is so gay, so loud, so smart, so cool. I really couldn't have imagined a better guest for us from our very first live university show. So cool. And I had no idea that she was going to be in the 99ers, which is a big deal.
So cool.
And the fact that my sister-in-law's partner, Alyssa, is playing Lori Fair, one of the two twins on the FIFA Women's World Cup winning 99ers team, is so incredible. And the fact that like Beth is playing lesbian icon Billie Jean King. I mean, what perfect casting, what perfect kismet. I'm so excited for this movie. I'm so excited for Alyssa, who's so smart and so funny.
What is
and
the character that Alyssa's playing? What's her name?
Laurie Fair. And she's one of
Sorry, the twin is Ronnie. We love it.
We
like
love
just like
Laurie
the
and
intern.
Ronnie.
We just love just like the intern. Yeah, Beth was great. I love the Kristy McNichol story. It was so, it was very reminiscent of me and you going to the stage door for Glenn Close after not seeing A Delicate Balance. I was like, oh God, I love this. Gay people are so funny. And so like, it's all with, I think usually, hopefully, with respect and love.
Yes.
But also like so silly and bananas. Yeah, Beth was the best. Loved talking about it. Whitney and Kelly McGillis and Jody with her. I loved it all. Loved her getting, sorry if she was off mic a little bit, but loved her getting up to show the way that Dolly grazed her side with her hand.
I really feel like, I think we've talked about this before, but I'm not going to name names, but there's two actresses in particular that have given me that same side squeeze that I am taking as sort of like a lesbian wink. And whether it was or whether it wasn't, I don't know. But like, as
I think
we
one
said,
was and one wasn't. But you gotta meet us in person to get the tea. Folks, we love you. Happy Pride. I hope that you are celebrating however you're able to and however you want to. And, if part of that is being here with us, we're really so honored and grateful. And, always slide into our DMs, always message us on Patreon. We're always down to talk about, this actresses and also life, guys, because it's hard.
It's
we
hard
love
out
you.
Here. We love you so much. We'll see you real soon. Folks, if you want to support the show, head on over to the Patreon. That's where we try to give you all of the BTS stuff. We do Liza Book Club. We do Barbara Book Club. We do movie clubs. We give you the episodes ad-free and early access. We do lots of fun shit, and you can control what you want to hear from us too. So if you support us on the Patreon, that would be so lovely. We love you so much. You could also leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen. And you can follow the show on TikTok and Instagram at You Might Know Her From.
This show is produced by Duck You Dragon. That's right. That's me and Ann, and that is our LLC. Also, all of that editing you hear is by the expert, wonderful communicator, a man I love, Adam Brown. Thank you, Adam. And all of that music you hear underscoring each and every episode of You Might Know Her From is by Gang. You can stream Gang's music wherever you listen to music.
And if you need to see Beth Malone in that mullet, I'm going to put it in the show notes, babe. That's where I archive every single thing that we talk about on this show. There's lots of little goodies, so dive in beneath the episode description.
We love a striking mullet. Hopefully for Pride Sunday, we will be together seeing Nona Hendrix of La Belle. And guess what, folks? She was also a guest star on the L Word. She's an actress. She lives in New York with her lesbian partner. We gotta get her on the show. I'm gonna be like, you might know her from La Belle and the L Word. But like, can you imagine being in her home or her being in your home or being on Zoom even with her and getting to be like, talk to us about walking on set at the L Word. Maybe we should treat ourselves while we're eating lunch and watch her cameo on her episode.
Great plan. Happy Pride.